acquaintance that I had with the system that we live in. I mean, I could never accept. We went back to Apple Valley and said, let's get the 45-foot craft going. Let's have people on board. Let's and we'll document it, and we'll have the proof, and then we'll find ways. And we had the understanding group finding ways to let people know what we were going to do. We're going to have live demonstrations eventually. Make a long story short, we went through stages, and we finally got to the big craft. There was actually two of them, but there was the one craft that we were ready to try and experiment with.
And how big was that again?
45 feet diameter. And we were, by that time, we didn't have any fences or anything around us, and you could see the thing from the roads and stuff, and we knew that, only a matter of time till the looky-loos started getting there, but we didn't care. We knew we had to do something because now General Motors is going to go tell whoever what we're proposing, and it won't be long before they find out what we're doing. Well, he says, come on, we're going to go. He got us into the briefing room, and he told there was three of us, and I don't remember who the other two guys were now. It wasn't Rapoldi, it wasn't Colton, it wasn't Alvo. But there was three of us, and he said, what you're going to do, you're going to get on board, we're going to go downrange. We had a 65-mile range in Apple Valley, and where we eventually wound up was about 10 miles, I think, downrange. He says, you're gonna get on board, and we're gonna go someplace, and then we're gonna come back, and that's all. And he said, but I want to tell you ahead of time, your brain will no longer
be the same.
You will lose it. You will because it won't understand and it won't comprehend what's happening. So use your mind, use your feelings, come from your heart, meditate, go into a focus point, and go to your higher thoughts and feelings, rather than worrying about what was going to happen. So he said, it's going to be a strange experience for you, but it will happen, and we will document it. And so we got on board, and what it was there on board, it was just a small, like a crystal ball in the center. It wasn't actually in the center, it was off center a little bit. And it had I think it was a laser, I don't know, but there was a white light coming up from the bottom of it, shining up through it. And it just beautifully broke the color spectrum into, like, from infrared, red, orange, yellow, all the way around 360 degrees. And to anywhere you wanted to go, any degree you wanted to go in the color spectrum was there. And I said, boy, that's beautiful. And we'd been briefed on it, but I didn't, until I saw it, I didn't realize, what was going on. He said, okay, just relax. We're going to go to an area that symbolizes. He used to use symbols a lot. I mean, he'd say, talking is useless. You have to use higher than talking is symbols, is to reach the mind.
Thinking in pictures.
In pictures, right. So talking is, in fact, off the subject for a minute, I used to, when I used to read a lot, one of my greatest people was Khalil Gibran, and he wrote the book The Prophet, and in there he said, one of his sayings was, half of what I say to you is meaningless, but it's necessary so that the other half may reach you. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, now I get it, that you have to come from the soul or the heart, or it's no good. It's just going around in circles.
There's something about choosing the blue spectrum in order to, with your minds?
Aquamarine. Carr, we were in touch. I don't know if we had walkie-talkie. I don't know, but I remember we were in touch. Uh-huh. And he said, okay, we're going to Aquamarine. That's over there. And hang on, boys, let's go. So we sat there, And I'm just doing this from memory, and I'm...
So you're all collectively focusing the same collective thought
Right. On
to feed this
aquamarine.
energy in a center of a focal point, which was this ball.
Right. And this ball then started just closing down and focusing on aquamarine. The whole thing became aquamarine. And I said, my God, this is how did he do that? You know? And he told us later that we were a part of it doing it because we were focused on it. And I said, this is
There's
great.
this biofeedback mechanism of synergistic.
Yeah. So we got focused on it, and then I was waiting for the thing to move now, and nothing seemed to happen. Nothing, you know. And then Carr said, "Okay, boys, get out of the craft and see what's going on." Well, didn't it work, or what happened? He said, "Come on, get out of the craft." We got out, and we were downrange 10 miles where this aquamarine area was, and
within this whole process, you're talking about probably a few minutes.
Oh yeah,
You know.
yeah. I'll get to the timing in a minute on it. But so he said, "All right, pick up rocks, put them in your pocket, take some grass or whatever you can find, some tumbleweed, whatever you can find, and get acquainted with where you're at, because when you get back, you're not gonna remember any of this." I mean, that was the gist of the whole thing. So we did, and we got back on board, and then we were back, and we got out of the craft, went into debriefing, and said, "Well, what happened? You know, we thought, you know, it didn't work, did it?" I said, "You don't think it worked? Check your pockets." And so we checked our pockets, and here's these dang rocks, and I had grass stains, I had everything. You know, I said, "Oh my God!"
But you didn't have memory of
No
this?
memory.
Oh, amazing.
No memory.
Your memory was...
Right. No memory at all. I remembered later being there and picking up the rocks, but then it was just like
Like it was a dream or something.
yeah, like it was a dream. Exactly. Like you advance your imagination to a point, and then you'd forget about it.
Wow.
And so I thought this is the most incredible experience I've ever had. And he said, no, it's simple. Your brain is there to operate your body. You're in a vessel here. It's an illusionary vessel that people don't realize, because we're creating it in microseconds. From 1 second to the other, these shutters are opening and shutting and creating all this reality you see around you. It doesn't really exist. It's all spirit. It's all energy. But we're creating this. And he was blowing us away, you know, and he said, but your brain has a capacity limit. It goes to a certain point of its responsibility, and unless it's in touch with the mind, unless it consents to be in touch with the mind, which
the
is
higher mind, really.
well, yeah, that's the mind of all of us, because we're all one. Unless it gets in touch with that, it doesn't know what's going on.
Am I to presume that at that moment that you had that flight of that 10-mile distance, your brain was being stretched like a rubber band, but when you went back faster than the memories of the experience could come back, and your
brain could realize it.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know, days later or months later, you could remember, like you said, picking up the rocks then.